The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone. We want to welcome you to our webinar today. We're going to be getting a presentation from Joe Dreger. I know we're all really excited. It's been one of our highest registration numbers so far for any of our webinars, so we want to get started real quick here. Just a little piece of housekeeping and we'll jump right in. First of all, if you have any questions, go ahead and type them into that question box. We will get them called out and answered for you. Also, like all of our webinars, we do record this webinar. So if you want to watch it again later, if you want someone else in your organization to see it, all you have to do is go to our website, innovia.com, and we have all of our past webinars posted there on our site. So without any further ado, Joe, I will hand it over to you.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Abby. Hello, everyone. Hopefully everyone's doing well today. I know here in Tomah, Wisconsin, it's raining, but looking forward to the nice spring weather coming. So my name is Joe Dreger. I'm a developer at Innovia here, and today I just wanted to introduce everyone to the NAV 2016 document management services. And so what I'm going to do today, I don't have any PowerPoints or anything, but just wanted to show everybody how to set up an online account with Lexmark. That this would be a third-party service that does the OCR translation. Show you how to get this set up in NAV and go through a short example. Hopefully, when I'm done, that everyone can see here, you know, the value in this and see where it may save them some time and money. So without further ado, the first step you're going to want to do is set up your account with Lexmark. I have a couple of relative links here that everyone can see, and then I'll have Abby send these out to the meeting participants after the webinar here. So I'm going to be going to this first link here to set up my account. And when you get there, you'll see a screen like this. And you'll notice that there's a couple of different options. There's a freemium account. So this is free up to 75 invoices a month. And this is the one that I'm using, and I would encourage anybody that's interested in this to go out and set up a freemium account. I know if you have a test database, just start using it and see what you think. If 75 invoices enough, or 75 invoices a month doesn't meet your needs, there are subscriptions here as well, and you can find one that would meet your needs. Okay, so I'm not going to go all the way through this because I've already set mine up, but you would just click on the test it out for free here, add it to your cart. I'll go ahead and try this, and you'll see that it says only one plan can be checked out, and that's because I've already done this. But you'll see a screen where you just enter in some information, your email and whatnot, and shortly after you'll receive an email with your information. Okay, so the next thing that you will see, you'll get an email saying that you've set up, and in that email you'll have your username, which I believe will always be your email address. You get a password, an authorization key, and a couple of URLs that you'll use in the NAV setup. I just blacked out my password and authorization key. I didn't want everybody using up my free 75 invoices here before I get a chance to show everyone. So then also down below, you'll notice there's an email address that gets assigned to you, and it's a super long address, but I wanted to kind of explain what that is for. So when you're receiving invoices, there's a couple of ways that you can bring them into NAV. And one, you can take a PDF file and bring it in straight from that file. Or you can use this email address. So if you're having somebody send you an invoice, you can have them send it directly to this address as an attachment, and it'll get pulled into NAV. Another thing you can do if you have a paper copy, you have like a printer scanner, you can have that set up to scan it to an email address and have it scan right to this email address. Okay, so second link that I have here is the online portal for where those emails go. And I'm going to get logged in there and just show everybody what that looks like. Okay, so you got your username and your password, and that's provided to you in the registration email. Okay, and so this isn't really something that you would need to log into, but I just wanted to get in here and show everybody what it looks like. You know, there's nothing in here at this point, but I will show you once we do one that you'll see that there's one sitting in here in progress. And so I'll keep this up. Okay. So we have our account set up through Lexmark, and now there's a little bit of setup that we need to do in Navision. So I have NAV 2016 open here, and so the first thing you want to do, just go up in the right-hand corner in the search bar, and you can type in, you can start typing in OCR service. I think you can just put in OCR, and you'll see the first thing that pops up is this OCR service setup. Okay, so you'll get to the OCR service setup screen here, and this is where you'll enter in the information you received in your registration email. So I'm going to put in jdrager@anovia.com and my password. Authorization key, I'm not going to dare try to type that one. I'm going to do a copy and paste. Okay, so then you'll notice there's a default OCR doc template box here, and if you hit the drop down, you'll notice that that's empty, so we'll come back to that. So also in here there is a fast tab called service, and this is where you would put in the service URLs from the registration email that you got. So you can either enter them in manually, or there's a button up on the top ribbon here that says set URLs to default, and I'm going to just go ahead and do that. And it brings in those URLs for you. Okay, the next thing you're going to want to do, there's a button on the ribbon that says test connection, and this is going to test that I typed in my information correctly. And let's see if I did. All right, connection succeeded. I hit OK. So you'll notice after I do the test connection that there's a status area down here that got filled in, my customer name and ID and my status. And then you'll also notice after I've done that, we have a number of document templates that got filled in here to choose from. Okay, so, and that is the next thing I'm going to do. So from here, you notice there's a bunch of different region templates, and for our example today, I don't know any of these other languages, so I'm going to go ahead and pick the US invoices with line items. And the next step is there's an enable button here. You want to go ahead and check enable. You'll get a message box that it's set up a couple of job queue entries for sending and receiving the documents. You can say yes or no to this. This is just going to show them to you. I'll go ahead and hit yes. And you'll see that there's 2 job queue entries that have been set up for us, one for sending and one for receiving the documents. Okay. Okay. So the next thing I want to do, this is all set up and ready to go. I want to go through an example. And so I'm going to go to, in the search bar, I'm going to type in incoming documents. Okay, so you can see right now I don't have any in here, but this is where if you receive an invoice, this is where they get brought into. And like I said before, there's a couple of different ways you can do that. You can create it directly from a file, or you can have it sent to the email address that I showed you in that registration email. So it takes a little bit of time for the OCR service to scan and whatnot. So I'm going to go ahead and do the email one first and get that one going. So then when we start the other one, the email one should show up in here. Okay. So I have a kind of a dummy invoice that I made in NAV here, and I just made it from a different company. Just called it a Novia Candy Company, and it has a bunch of header information, the company address, and the order number, and so forth. And it has a line here for $100. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is show how the email functionality would work. And I'm just going to get my Outlook email opened up here. Okay. And so I just, for the sake of time here, I'd set up in my drafts a number of these. I just have an email address to the email address from the registration email, and it has my invoice attached in here. So I'm going to go ahead and send that off. And now I want to go back to our ReadSoft portal just to see. So right now it says 0. I'm going to do a refresh and see if it's showed up already. Nope. Nothing yet. Okay, well, I know that it'll show up. I went through this a few times, so we'll just put that on hold. But the main thing to understand is that we're expecting this thing to come into this incoming documents area after it's been processed, and the job queue goes out and looks that there's one ready to come in. Okay. So I'm going to show you the other. Oh, it just popped up. So I'll just flip back over here and show you that. So you can see now there's one in progress here, and I can click on it. So you can imagine that there might be a number of vendors sending in invoices, and you can come in here and see which ones are in here and see what the status is. Okay. So the other method is if you have a PDF of this document, you can just create one of these from a file. So I'm going to go ahead and do on the ribbon here, there's a button that says create from file. And on my desktop, you can see this is the one I sent out via email. And this is another one, and it's really just the same invoice, just named differently here. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that one. Okay, so you'll see right away that it created a new incoming document for me, and right away you can see there's a link to a PDF file here, and I can open it and look at it. You can see there's my invoice. Okay, so the very first thing that you want to do is send this out to the OCR service. And there's a button here on the ribbon. You just click send to OCR service. And it says the document was successfully sent to the service. Okay, so then the next step is you want to receive it back from the OCR service. Now, if I click on this right now, I'm most likely going to get a message that it's not ready yet. It doesn't take a ton of time. It might be like a minute or so. So I thought we could use just an opportunity to kill a minute or so to see if there's any questions already at this point. I will do my best to answer them. If I don't have the answers, I can get back to you via an email. Abby, do you know if there's any questions out there currently?
So far, Joe, we don't have any questions.
Okay, that's fine. So I will go ahead and try to receive it now and see if we do get that message. Okay, so yeah, I mean, like I said, it doesn't take a ton of time, but if you do click on it immediately after you send it, you will most likely get a message that it's not ready yet. Okay, so it was received, and then you can see down below here that we have a resulting XML that was returned back to us. You can click on it and view it. It's probably not going to make a whole lot of sense. It's just an XML representation of that document. Okay, so the next step in the process, there's a button on the ribbon that says correct OCR data. And so you'd want to click on this, and you'll notice that in this window there's two columns here. And so on the right hand side is the data that you cannot change. This is what was read in. And on the left hand side, you have the opportunity to change that if you see something that is out of order. So as I'm looking through this, I see that it brought in a date here for the vendor order number. So I'm just going to remove that. And the next step is to send the OCR feedback back to Lexmark. And so what this service is supposed to do is be intuitive, so the next time you come in here for a like type of invoice, it's supposed to learn so it doesn't make the same mistakes twice. And that's the purpose of sending the feedback. Okay? Okay, so now that we've done that, we can go ahead and we can make a invoice in NAV from it. Up on the ribbon, there's a button that says create document. And looks like I got a success here. Oh, it's still thinking. Okay, purchase invoice 1010 has been created. Okay, so you can see here there's a new link that says purchase invoice 1010. I can click on it. And you can see that it's created my purchase invoice for me and filled in all the header information, the company, my amount, and yeah, so I mean that's really it for my demo here. But we can definitely see that there's an advantage here where, you know, this can save a lot of time, people typing in time and errors as well. So the next thing I want to do, hopefully by this time the one that I had sent out via email is in here, and I see it's not, but let me just do a refresh here. Nope, it's not in there. Okay, well, I do know it comes in here, so hopefully if we get a couple questions here, we can check back on this. So I don't know if we could take this time and see if anybody has any questions at this point.
We do have some questions here, Joe. When validating the OCR data, are you able to view the invoice at the same time?
Yeah. Let's go into this one here. Yeah, so I mean, just for the sake of example here, I could click on this PDF here and open it up, and I'll just keep this kind of minimized over here. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the correct OCR data. So you can see, depending on what version of Windows you have here, you could do like a split screen. I mean, you could do it anyway, but with this version, I think you can do a drag and it splits the screen for you. Let's see if I can minimize this. Here we go. Yeah, so I mean, you could view your invoice on the left and just compare these fields on the right and make any necessary changes. Any others?
That is our only question so far, Joe.
Oh my goodness. Does that mean I did a good job?
Let's go with that. I'm going to say absolutely. If we don't have any questions, then it must be clear.
Yeah, I guess so. Okay, let me go back here and just do another refresh and see if we happen to get that other invoice in here. And we haven't. Bummer. I thought that we would have that by now. Let me check my portal here and see what it says as well. Refresh. Export in progress. So yeah, unfortunately, this is the way things work out. I do know that when I tried this the other day that it brought it in, and it's probably just a matter of waiting. So you will just have to take my word for it that if you wait, that an invoice will come in here from the email one, and that's it. And then you would really just process it like you've done the other one that you created from the file. Open it up and do your comparison and go ahead and create your invoice. So yeah, with that, if there's no other questions, you know, if anybody thinks of any other questions, you know, after the webinar, feel free to email them in. I have Abby email out these links for everybody if they wanna just get in there and start trying it out, and we'll get you some answers to your questions if you have any.
We do have one more question here, Joe. What happens when an invoice is rejected?
So I'm not sure if I 100% understand the question, like rejected from the OCR service, or?
Yes.
I do not know if I have an answer to that question. I will get back to the individual or send out to the group. I haven't, I guess, in my testing had one that's rejected, but I guess that is a possibility.
Okay, so Christine, we will look into that, and Joe will get back to you via email on that one. Any other questions before we finish up today? Well, Joe, it must have been so clear we don't have any more questions.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for your time, and hopefully everyone you know, sees an interest and a value in this as much as I do.
Well, thank you so much, Joe, and to our attendees, we will be following up with those links via email, and we hope to see you again at our next webinar.